Hello again everybody, and welcome back. In this video we're going to configure OpenCV 3 on Windows 10 using the OpenCV precompiled binaries. But before we dive into it, I should mention that this video here I'm going to be demoing everything on a Windows 10 computer. If you're still using Windows 7, 8, or 8.1, the steps are essentially the same. There's just minor menu differences, but I'll be demoing it on Windows 10 today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So we'll pull up the internet here, and then we'll go to GitHub, GitHub, and then microcontrollers and more, micro microcontrollers and more. There we go. And take the spaces out. And then you're going to want to choose this here, and then go to repositories, and then Windows OpenCV 3 Windows 10 installation tutorial. And we're going to implement 3 programs today. We're going to implement here cannystill.cpp. That's a program that takes the canny edges of a still image, and you can use any image you like. We're going to use this example image down here, or that's what I'll be using as I go through the program today. When you're following along, you can use any image you like. And then we're going to do canny webcam next, and that's going to take the canny edges of a webcam feed. And then last, we're going to do red ball tracker, which is a really basic object tracking program that tracks a red ball. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, and we're going to be working from this here today: installation cheat sheet 1, OpenCV 3, and C++. And you can read the contents here, but to copy and paste out of it, you're going to want to choose raw and then open. And I'll swing that over from the other screen here, so we'll pretty much just work down the cheat sheet. So step 1, download and install Visual Studio 2015 Community Edition, which it's free, and you can choose all the default options. That'll be fine. And then next, download the latest version of OpenCV. So as of when I'm recording this video, that's 3.1.0. I'll just show everybody the site in case you haven't been there before, but it's pretty straightforward. So OpenCV, and then we go here, and when it loads, we're going to go to downloads here at the top right, and then you're going to choose OpenCV for Windows, whatever the latest version is, and that takes you to the SourceForge page. And then there's a quick countdown. They show the ads and stuff. Here's the countdown: 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds, and then you save it. I think you get the idea. Pretty straightforward. So then you can download that to wherever you prefer. And in my particular case, I downloaded that to c:\downloads, and here it is, OpenCV 3.1.0. But before we double click on that, let's bring up another file explorer. What you're going to want to do, following along in the cheat sheet here, step 3a, make a folder OpenCV dash and then 3 numbers for the version. So for example, if you're using OpenCV 3.1.0, you're going to make this folder right here. So I'll just go ahead and show you that I have that. So C OpenCV-310, so this folder right here, and I'm going to do a Control-C on that path there. And then when you double click on the OpenCV download executable, that's what you're going to set extract to. So when we double click this here, this pops up. You don't want to extract that to C downloads though. You want to extract to that location. Again, I've already done it on this computer, so I'm not going to do it, but you would go ahead and choose extract at that point. And let's see, we're on to step 4a. So add the bin directory for your version of OpenCV in Visual Studio. So when you're going through the OpenCV directories, VC14 means version 14 of Visual Studio, which is Visual Studio year 2015. And in case you were wondering, VC12 means Visual Studio year 2013. So unfortunately, you kind of have to know that as far as the history of versions of Visual Studio that there's been. So for example, today we're using OpenCV 3.1.0 and Visual Studio 2015. So we're going to add the following to the path: C OpenCV-310 OpenCV build x64 VC14 and then bin. And in case you're wondering what contents are there, we can go ahead and jump to that. And that's what's in this directory here. So you want to add that to our path, and then you're going to pull up a command prompt and verify that's now in your path. So I've already done that on this computer, but suppose you hadn't, go ahead and copy this out of the cheat sheet, then right click on Start down here, and then Control Panel, and then go to System, and then Advanced System Settings, and then Environment Variables. And then up here is just for one user, so you want to choose down here, which affects all users, and then choose Path, and then Edit. And you can see again on this computer I've already added this path here, but supposing that you hadn't done that yet, you would choose New and then add this. And then choose OK and OK and OK. And again, I'm just choosing Cancel because I've already added it, so it doesn't matter. And then you definitely want to go ahead and reboot at that time, because Visual Studio will not be able to see that path change until you do a reboot. So once your reboot is complete, from my microcontrollers and more GitHub page, so from this page here, and we're going to go back one. So you're going to decide which of these you're going to do: canny still, canny webcam, or red ball tracker. We're actually going to do all three today. We'll start with candystill.cpp because it's the simplest one. And let's see, continuing on in the cheat sheet here. So start Visual Studio. Okay, so we're going to fire Visual Studio 2015. And then when that comes up, I'm going to swing this cheat sheet over to the other screen now. Just a moment here while I reposition that. And you can close this opening screen here. So now, let's see, continuing with step 6A, we're going to go to File, New Project. And then you're going to choose Visual C++. And then you're going to choose Empty Project. And you can name it whatever you'd like. We'll copy and paste out of the cheat sheet and name it CandyStill1. And you can choose your location as you prefer, and then you want to uncheck these here, create directory for solution and add to source control, and then choose OK. And when that comes up, we're going to left click in the solution explorer here, and then we're going to choose add new item. And in case you're wondering, you can get that in the menus as well. You can go to project and then add new item. It doesn't matter either way. So add new item, and then we're going to make sure you're adding a CPP file, and we're going to name it just the same as the project, only with the .cpp at the end. Go ahead and choose add, and there we go. And we can close the output window. So continuing on here, step 7A I believe we are on, yes. So we're going to go to candystill.cpp and then raw. And then we're going to do Control A, Control C. I'll swing that back over to the other window, and then Control V. And we're going to get a whole bunch of red underlines because we have not yet told Visual Studio where to find our OpenCV install. We're going to take care of that subsequently, but before we do that, continuing along with step 8, we are using a still image in this program, so we're going to go back just a few screens here, and then we're going to go to image.jpg, and then we're going to right click on the image, and again you can use any image you like. This is just one example. So we'll do save picture as, and then we're going to save it to Visual Studio 2015, wherever you've saved your project. On this particular computer here, we're using Visual Studio 2015 in Documents, and then Projects, and then CandyStill1, and go ahead and save it. And we'll go ahead and pop that directory open just so you can see the image is saved there. So if we go to Documents, Visual Studio 2015, Projects, and CandyStill1, and there's the image that we just saved a second ago. So now we can go back here, and continuing on with the cheat sheet, we're on to step 9. So now we're going to jump back to here, and up here in solution configurations we're going to verify that that's set to debug, and then we're going to change solution platforms to x64, and this is a must now because the as of OpenCV 3.1 or later, OpenCV for Windows precompiled binaries don't include the 32-bit binaries anymore, so you have to use 64-bit. So continuing on with step 10, now we're going to tell Visual Studio, the project that is, effectively where our OpenCV install is. So to do that, we're going to go to Project, and then Project Name, and then Properties. And we're on step 10 now, and then we're going to go to Configuration Properties and Visual C++ Directories, and then Include Directories, and then Edit. And you can, if you're using OpenCV 3.1.0, you can copy and paste directly out of the cheat sheet. If you're using a slightly later version, of course, you'll have to make the applicable changes. So we're going to go ahead and copy in the include directory, and you can leave everything here at the bottom the same, that's fine. And then we're going to go to library directories, and this is on to step 11 here. And we're going to copy the library directory and paste it in there, and again you can leave all this at the bottom here just how it is, that's fine. Then we're going to go to linker and input and additional dependencies and edit. But before we do that, step 11, for those of you that don't have viewing file extensions enabled at this point, I'd recommend to go ahead and do that. So right click on Start and go to Control Panel, File Explorer Options, and then let's see, where is it here, View, and then this here, Hide Extensions for Known File Types. You want to make sure that this is not checked so you can see your file extensions. And that was step 12. So continuing on with step 13, we're going to go to the library directory in a file browser. So let's open another one of those. So then we'll paste this in, and again I'm just copying and pasting out of step 13 now. So in previous versions of OpenCV there were multiple libraries here. Now there's only one, although there's two files, and the only difference here is that this OpenCV World 3.10 of course that's the version, and then the D is for debug, and then this one up here that does not have the D, that's the release version. So there's really only one library even though there's two. So we're starting with the debug version today. So what we're going to do is, you can copy and paste out of the cheat sheet, but just for future reference, if a future version of OpenCV has multiple libs, or if the name's slightly different, the easiest way to do it is to right click and then choose rename, and then press Control A to highlight everything. You want to make sure to grab the file extension as well, and then Control C to copy that. And then we're going to go back to Visual Studio, and then we're going to simply paste that in there. And again, if you're using a different version of OpenCV that has more than one lib, then you're going to want to paste in all the debug lib names at this time. And then you can leave all these settings here the same, and then OK, apply OK, and if we did everything correctly, sure enough, all our red underlines disappeared. So we're good to go now. So now we are on to step 14, so we can go ahead and run the program. So you can press F5 to run the program with the debug mode on if you'd like to use that, but I'm pretty confident this is going to work, so I'm just going to press Control F5 to run without debugging. And there we go. Here's our original image, and there's our canny edge image. So just press any button to close those out. And we could make a second and third project for the final two programs today, but honestly that's not even necessary. We can just use the same project and copy and paste in the updated code. So here we're going to choose cannywebcam.cpp and raw, Control A, Control C, swing that out of the way, and of course make sure you have a webcam connected before you do this, and Control F5, and there I am in my apartment, and there's a nice canny edge image. And for this final program, you're going to want to have a red ball. You can buy one of these at Toys R Us or something like that for $1, or maybe not even that much. So we're going to go back here and back one more, and we're going to go to redballtracker.cpp and raw, and Control A, Control C, and Control A, Control V, and Control F5, and grab your red ball. And I'm going to try to stack the windows here. And of course we're looking in this text-based window at the ball position, X, Y location, and the radius, and then in the color image here we have that's the actual image, and then of course this image over here is the thresholded image, so we can check our processing that way. So everything seems to be working great for us, and that pretty much concludes this tutorial. So hope everybody found that beneficial, and I'll see you in the next one.